You're watching 101. We're talking with renowned and somewhat controversial Indian film director and producer Mahesh Bhatt. Mahesh, what were your defining moments, you feel, as far as your work?
Well, a film called Earth, which was kind of pulled out from my own sordid life. I was married at the age of 20, and I had became a father at the age of 21, and then I was introduced to LSD, and which kind of changed my consciousness. I was an average middle-class Indian boy. Suddenly, this wonder drug descended from Berkeley, and it was the thing to have, and it completely played havoc with my consciousness. And I went through this whole spiritual quest. I went to the spiritual super bazaar looking for moksha, nirvana, enlightenment. I went to this controversial sex guru called Osho, Rajneesh, shopped around with J. Krishnamurti, the messiah of the 20th century. And till I met an actress who was on the Time magazine cover called Parveen Babi, and who unfortunately died of repeated bouts of paranoid schizophrenia. And it was my affair with Parveen Babi, and which kind of, and her madness, and a descent into the abyss of madness, that played, in a way, shattered me and took away all those fairy tale ideas that I had about life. And that was kind of transformed into a film, which launched me. I was 30, 31, when I was a guy who began earlier, was kind of almost, the trade had written my obituary, they'd given up on me. And suddenly I came into my own with this idiom. I stumbled into an idiom called the autobiographical idiom. And that was the defining moment in terms of my film career.
How is India changing in your eyes, in your industry especially, and how is it affecting what you plan to do?
Well, India is now, there's nothing like a pan-Indian film. You have India, there are too many Indias in this India. There's an India where we sit down in a five-star hotel, which has different dreams, and they don't grapple with the nightmares that the common man grapples with. So you have to make products for the metros different from what you would make for a small town. And I find that if you really look at India now, Bollywood may claim that it's getting bigger, but it's getting emptier. Somewhere, the Indian filmmaker today is making products which is pitched to the elite or to the Indian diaspora, which is abroad. And so the so-called common man has almost disappeared from the Indian screen. You don't see him. Like in life, he's become an invisible man. You don't see him. So he has completely been erased on the movie screen or from the television screen. That's why you see that you have a kind of a spurt of regional cinema, like Bhojpuri films, which is made from UP and Bihar, which is the biggest states of India, have become a big hit with the people of India.
They touch the common man.
It touch the common man because he feels that he is being represented by that cinema. So there is a kind of a divided India in terms of this, not only in terms of the spaces that where it lives in big bungalows and rich flats, and the squalor and the filth and the slums, but in terms of entertainment also, they consume two different kind of entertainment products. So I find that I struggle to kind of make a product which has the Indianness and yet has the aspirational world that he would like to belong to.
What about the crossover, the crossover range of films that are appearing now? How do you view those?
I don't think we have even scratched the surface of that. As long as the Indian voice is timid, emotionally timid, intellectually timid, and as long as it wags its tail and wants acceptance by imitating the idiom of some other country, no matter how great a country may claim it is, the chances of it coming into its own are slim to none. You will have to dare to be yourself. You have to be the only way you can be distinct is by being yourself. The moment you cut yourself and prune yourself of your uniqueness and try to emulate what is the prescribed idiom of international cinema, the chances are that you will be thrown away.
But in theory, it doesn't have to imitate. It can actually provide something different. So I'm wondering what you think Indian cinema could contribute to the international stage.
See, the Indians, we as Indian filmmakers have to decide whether we are going to cater to the 1 billion people here or seek acceptance on the terms of the New York Times critic or the London Times critic. My future is decided by the rickshawala, not
Guys
by the
driving the
reviewer,
rickshaws, yeah.
not by the reviewer, not by the reviewer. The guy on the street decides my product's quality. Because the consumer decides the quality. It's not the person who sits down there who doesn't consume my product, who has no business to comment on it. So the moment I pitch my product to them, then I will have to kind of sit down and realign my strategy. And since I don't play for that market, I make products for my own country. I have no problem, but people in my country who want to stand on that holy altar of Los Angeles need to answer these questions. Are they going to take money from here, use the raw material, human resources from here, and make products for that audience? And if they're going to do this, how are they going to do this? How are they going to monitor the sensibilities which go into making a film?
How do you rate the actors of Bollywood nowadays?
Some of them are good within the parameters of what we think is good for us.
It's a bit of a question out there, but do you feel they're of international standard, if there's such a thing?
A handful of them, yes. Some of them are international standards. And because, you see, our requirement is different. There was an American filmmaker who came to us and said that, why is there so much of sound, noise in your movies? Why do you fill your films with so much of background music? So I said, listen, come with us to a cinema hall. Silence is unbearable. The outside sound gets in, the traffic noise gets in. And that's what the consumer has paid to get away from. So we need to create a wall between the reality that he lives outside and in the world that he's escaped into. We understand that silences are important. We understand all that, we read. But our environment is different. And this was told to me by the great Shivaji Ganeshan, the South Indian star. He said, look, we were made to perform on the streets of South India, where while we were performing on the street, we had to appeal to a vegetable vendor at a distance, and we had to pitch up our dialogues to that guy because our money came from them. That is why this is the idiom. So we understand subtleties, we understand. So the environment is different. That's why the products are, you cannot kind of disconnect the product from the environment. That this is for our environment. We cannot make products for that environment and also seek acceptance from the people here. That's the problem we have.
How do you balance the job as a producer and a director? You do both.
No, I don't direct.
Not so much
anymore.
directing now, yeah.
I only produce it. I write and I produce, and I have a balcony view of my company. I have young filmmakers who are working for me. The thrust, the direction that our company needs to take is something which we decide, and I provide the vision and I give them suggestions when I feel that they're not going right. But I have understood that for us to survive, we need to keep a product supply line going. We need to make at least 3 to 4 films a year, because mine is like the Roger Corman model of the great filmmaker in the U.S. I mean, we make cost-effective, low-budget films, but high concept and without stars, because I feel it's cheaper to create stars than to buy them, and it gives me independence.
You've made quite a few public political comments. Is that something we'll see more from Mahesh Bhatt in the future?
I think so, because I feel that having made intimate movies which dealt with my personal life, which were called chamber dramas, you move into the outside world. You see the world. When I travel, I see the problems in northeast of India, where there is insurgency. I travel to the interiors of India, where there is abject poverty. So it's automatic as a storyteller when life touches you, and that will bleed in your film.
Mahesh Bhatt, I'm sure we haven't heard the last from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.